Happy Friday. I hope this day finds you well and warm on this cold, snowy day, and that you're taking advantage of the time to stay in and take care of yourself if you were afforded the opportunity to have a snow day today. So I wanted to take time to update you on some information about next week, our simulation, but also to review some of the assignments. It's come to my attention that some of you are having some concerns about the why of the assignments. And though I included it in the syllabus and have sent out video announcements through this short time together, I thought I would just reiterate that and put it in one place so that we can be on the same page about your journey towards your CDCA, Chemical Dependency Counselor Assistant Temporary Licensure. So let's just begin first with the criteria for the chemical dependency license. So let me see here. I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me see if it lets me get into that window. Here we go. So within the Chemical Dependency Counselor Assistance Licensure, you're required to have 40 hours of training in chemical dependency specific education content areas. So those areas include theories of addiction, counseling procedures and strategies with addicted populations, group process and techniques working with addicted populations, assessment and diagnosis of addiction, relationship counseling, pharmacology, prevention strategies, treatment planning, and legal and ethical issues. Now, for the first certificate, the CDCA temporary, which you will apply for at the end of this course. The course does not give you the certificate. The course gives you the requirements to apply for the certificate. As in a video that's also uploaded in week 14 or 15 of this program, I talk about what you need to do to get a CDCA. So you have to apply to the Ohio Chemical Dependency Professionals Board for that. But they will ask you to prove that you have 40 hours worth of competency content area. So each assignment that you have is built on getting this education. So the videos that you're watching about understanding substance use, about the different theories of the health model, disease model of addiction, all of those videos that we're using the PCCS and the health knowledge are credible and renowned websites that provide continuing education that the Chemical Dependency Board acknowledges as competency education towards the certification. So when you're doing the video, where there are only 1 hour videos, those hours fall into the categories of one of these topics here that's required for the content. So it's not giving you a certificate of your CDCA, it's giving you a certificate of completion in specific hours. And I've designed each week in modules of the hours that you need. For example, you'll notice that week 1 and week 2 were theories of addiction, and those modules were related to different theories. So each activity that you're doing, you're building on these 40 hours of content area. So that at the end of this course, you'll be able to say, I received 40 hours of training. The accountability buddy seems to be a big question. I know this is a new way to do discussion boards where you are paired with another student, being accountable to them, reviewing your self-care, and also discussing some questions that may be personal, right? So this is why we have only 1 or 2 buddies. You're paired up with these, and this is mimicking a therapeutic relationship. Now, many of you have not had experiences with clients in a clinical setting of chemical dependency. So when you go to apply for the license, you'll need to prove that you have been able to be in a therapeutic relationship, that you understand the dynamics of a relationship. So the discussion group is written to do just that. It's providing you an opportunity of knowing how to share and self-disclose. It's providing you an opportunity to build a relationship with another person, to self-report, to understand authenticity, the questions asked you questions to reflect on your biases, and it's a simulation of a therapeutic relationship. That's why it's called accountability buddy. There's a buddy that you're being accountable to walk through this process of this journey for the chemical dependency. Now, I've explained why you have the videos each week as well through PCCS or Health Knowledge or even some YouTube videos. Those all will align in the different areas. The counseling procedures and strategies with addiction populations is an important process. That skill you are gaining by doing the simulation, which I'll talk about shortly, that you'll do in week 5. And there's another one, I believe, in week 14, as well as the SUR and the MI videos and trainings that you're watching. Keep in mind also, your summary notes are giving you practice on writing therapeutic notes. So I asked you to summarize, observe, to talk about how this would be applied or take action, and also a plan in the different categories. Now, I realize each reading will not have information for every category. That's not the point of the summary note. The summary note is so that you're able to access information, summarize it, pick out the best points for it, and understand what it means to write a summary. This will help you when you need to do progress notes, right? We don't have a real client. Also, you haven't been exposed maybe to writing case notes with the substance use and recovery. So the summary notes is a way of establishing this pattern and understanding how to do notes and having the aha moment of how do you summarize, how do you observe, how do you apply and plan for taking notes. So I've gone through most of the activities, and so hopefully you have a better understanding of the why. What I'd like to do now is share with you the information for this week. I'm going to stop share, and then I'm going to share again so that I can go directly into the assignment for week 5, which is I'm really excited about, the simulation. Now, the simulation is with Cognito. So you will need to establish and create an account, just as you have with some of the other video services that we've used, the CEUs online. So you'll need to go into cognitocampus.com to access the simulation. You'll have to create an account, and it gives you here what your enrollment key will be, as well as how to launch it. If you have any questions, if you notice here, I've included a handout. This is SBI with Adolescents account setup info. It tells you how to set up your initial account. I've also included the flyer that includes the enrollment key, as well as a simulation with adolescents overview. Let's go into this overview if it will allow me to access that here. I ask that you please review the overview because it will let you know how to do a simulation. If you've never participated in a simulation, this simulation is with a virtual client. So through technology, you will be a clinician taking an intake, and you'll have a client, and you'll be able to role play through the use of this application what answers you choose to do with your client. So look through the simulation overview. It walks you through here on each phase that you'll have: the introduction, the practicing of the SBIRT, the screening, brief intervention part of it, the assessment. Also, at the end, it will give you a score and let you know if you have practiced using your motivational interviewing skills, if you've displayed empathy. I only require that you go through the simulation once. You're welcome to do it more than one time. You also can take more time than just the hour, and you can change your answers. You can practice changing your answers so that you can get a better understanding of how to work through an intake, the SBIRT, and MI with the virtual client. So I have gone through, again, this is the guide. It gives you the screenshots of what you'll see in the simulation as well. your client, Josh, that you'll be meeting this week. I've gone through most of this. The simulation will show up again, another one in week 14, and you'll have to do a different enrollment key because it's a different simulation, but we can address that when we get there. Okay, so this is what you can expect. I promise you that each assignment, though it may not make sense to you, it is preparing you so that you can apply for the Chemical Dependency Counselor's Assistant certification. The course has been written with the guidance of the CSWE, as well as many other practitioners who are either have built the course or who are using the course as well. So the components are the simulation, the summary note component. They're in a different way. I may have been more creative in how I present them to you, but they are all aligned so that you receive your chemical dependency certification, confidence, and are able to apply for the licensure at the end of this course. The other part that is very unique to this course is the Stretch for Sobriety part and the self-care. I have put down the screen now, but one of the competency areas under ethics is around the clinician caring for themselves. So I built in the Stretch for Sobriety with the movement and the breathing exercises and mindfulness and meditation so that you have at least every other week an opportunity to practice self-care. Many of your responses show that this is working and that this is something that you are enjoying. Even if you aren't, I totally understand, but it's written so that we can meet the part of you understanding there are skills that you can use for burnout, to prevent burnout and vicarious trauma. As well, part of the history of substance use and recovery under one of the theory and strategies for practice is AA, NASA, right? The use of the concepts of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. The Stretch for Sobriety uses those 12 steps so that you can become familiar with them. You can also see how you might integrate somatic body-based therapies, which means using the body, the breath to connect to mental health resources, and how you might use these with the client. So while you're doing the Stretch for Sobriety and you're doing your self-care, the why of that is it is also introducing you to the 12 steps. Now, please know this is not to convince you that you should use the 12 steps. But in recovery, it's very common for people to use the 12 steps. So it's exposing you so that you're aware of what the 12 steps are and how you might work with the client who desires to integrate their use of Alcoholics Anonymous or Substance Anonymous or NA or any of those supports within the treatment process. So I hope that this video better explains. I know when you read something, it's not always as good as saying something. So here we are almost at week 5. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I understand it's a small group of you that have been trying to work through things with one another. You don't need to do that. I'm here to support you in whatever way. You can email me and we can set up a virtual appointment. You can telephone me. I've made myself available after hours on the weekends. I'm here to serve you as a student. I hope that you know that I'm on this journey with you, and it is my privilege to help you to understand things that may not be clear. In addition, I understand that what makes sense to me may not make sense to you, and I want to do my best to improve my communication within the course. So if there's something that is not clear, feel free to let me know. It helps me so that I can make it clear for other students. Hence how this video came about. During one of my virtual meetings, a student said that they finally had the aha, but that along the last few weeks, they had been processing with a group of students. And we thought that it would be beneficial if I sent you this email. So until next time, I hope that you have a very good weekend. I hope that you now more understand the why of the assignments. And I look forward to you working through this course so that you can apply for your Chemical Dependency Counseling Assistance license, and you can be more marketable as well as more competent to deal with some of the health concerns that are facing people today within our community. Take care.